it's really important. It's linked to creativity, learning, it helps people cope with stress, and it's probably for these reasons that it's mentioned in curricula around the world, including the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and the US. We had 663 parents complete a survey looking at their child's humor development. And these children were between 6 and 47 months, so just under 4 years. And we also asked parents about their child's touchscreen use the day before, how much time children spent using the touchscreen on their own, and how much time children spent using the touchscreen with an adult. And what we found was that there was a positive relationship between children's touchscreen use with an adult and their humor development. So children who had spent more time playing with touchscreens with an adult the previous day actually knew and appreciated more types of humor than those children who hadn't. There was no relationship between children's touchscreen use alone and their humor development. So it wasn't worse if kids were playing a lot with touchscreens by themselves. It wasn't worse, but it wasn't better. Now, 228 parents repeated the survey 6 months later. And we did this because we wanted to see how do children's relationships with touchscreens affect their later development. Maybe it could help them later on. Maybe it'll, make them worse later on. And what we found was that the amount of time children spent using touchscreens early on had no effect on their humor development 6 months later. So if children playing with touchscreens with adults is increasing their humor development, maybe because that gives them time to learn about humor through the interaction with their parents and through perhaps humor content in the apps, it's really a short-term kind of thing, and there's no long-lasting effects. And so I think what this tells us is that parents should be fine playing with apps with their children. When we look at parents who did play with apps with their children the day before, mostly this is just around 5 to 10 minutes. So, you don't need to go on there for hours at a time. And if you play with apps with your children, there might be potential positive benefits for your children's humor. You might want to choose apps that have funny things in them, talk about the jokes, explain them, laugh about them. And we really saw no negatives from using touch screens in terms of humor. Now, letting kids play on their own for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, that should also be okay. It won't help their humor development, but it doesn't hinder it either, which means, you can have a shower or get dinner ready or things like that.